All right, heading into another Edge of Eternity's Premier Draft. Cube is up right now. I did a couple cube drafts yesterday, but figure we'll sneak in some of this business while all the good players are cubing. And so, pack one, we've got Famish Worldsire, which is a pretty goofy, big, mythic green dork. Not like Crazy Bomb by any means, but green is pretty easy to get on the ramp up and then play big stuff plan in this format, and being able to strip all the lands from your deck and just have a giant creature that they have to kill, and then you're on gas for the rest of the game is pretty nice if you can get that far. There's nothing else in this pack that's like super standout. I mean, Halaya's fine, the Infiltrator's fine, Jean's fine, Mechanozoa's fine. There's like a bunch of fine cards, but we're not passing any like, you know, premium removal or anything like that. So this is kind of a fun card, and the set's mature enough that I will favor taking a kind of a fun card over, you know, when being, you know, forced to choose between the kind of a fun card and the maybe more boring standard card. So in that vein, so we have a Pinnacle Emissary here and a 0-point ballad. I'm just going to go ahead and grab the 0-point ballad. Not an unreasonable plan to just, you know, play green-black, get some, you know, ground dorks to clog up the board a little bit, and then maybe 0-point ballad and then play a big old Worldsire or something like that. I don't know. 0-point ballad is just obviously quite good. And to follow it up with a Dubious Delicacy is also quite good. So in this pack we also have a Beamswell Prospector that I wouldn't mind seeing come around, or Shattered Wings I wouldn't mind seeing come around. Outside of that, I don't expect to get the Wormtail Sweeper back. Tropic Battle Cruiser is okay. But yeah, very happy to take a Dubious Delicacy there, and then followed up with a Depressurize. That is pretty sweet as well. So Pinnacle Killship, probably wouldn't mind one of these in the deck, maybe. Since we already have the Worldsire, we maybe have room for one or two more, you know, 7-8 mana, you know, end the game type cards. But yeah, very happy to take Depressurize here. There's also an Umbral Zealot in the pack and a Focus Fire. And then, so this is interesting because we have a Interceptor Mechan in the pack, and we are pretty much firmly in black at this point, right? Interceptor Mechan goes pretty well with Dubious Delicacy. It's also just a very good card. Haven't seen a ton of you know, good green cards in the past 3 picks, so we may not be playing the Worldsire. Beamswell Prospector is good and all, but I think I'm going to go ahead and take the Interceptor Mechan and just you know, kind of keep myself open to maybe playing red-black, or maybe even playing black-green and splashing the Mechan. These are all viable choices. But just giving up a Beamswell Prospector is not a big deal. Peregrine Beckoner is another really good pickup. It's not super late yet, but pick 6 seeing Peregrine Beckoner in the pack. I think black is pretty open. So we are in the right lane there. So there's a Caesarian Voidborn. I'm not like as crazy about this card as I thought I might be. Although if we do get the Umbral Zealot back and we get another Beckoner and then we get the Voidborn, we just have you know, a little four card combo that can win the game there. You just have to draw and be able to play all of them. Yeah, and there's Decode Transmissions here, but I'm just going to take the Voidborn. That is a fairly late All Fate Stalker. 8th pick, huh? There's also a Sammy's in this pack, so I'm just going to go ahead and snag that now. Again, very open to the idea of just being black-green and maybe splashing red for the Mechan and like an Orbital Plunge or something. That's reasonable. This is a 9th pick, Embrace Oblivion. So, you know, black is as open as expected. Now, notably, I don't have a ton of things that go with it. I mean, we can sack Dubious Delicacy to it. But hopefully we can get a Virus Beetle or 3, and then we can do things like, you know, Beckoner, a Virus Beetle, and then Embrace Oblivion with it and just get a ton of value out of that. Let's see who is hogging all the packs. Somebody on the opposite side of the table, I see. Okay, we'll just grab Comet Crawler here. So notably, now we have a couple of sack outlets, Embrace Oblivion, Comet Crawler. We might pick up another couple, being as we're in black-red, and then maybe we can take the, oh, what's it called? The two in a red that steals a creature. I forget what it's called in this format. Anyway, there's one in pretty much every format, and, you know, stealing their dude and then sacking it is nice. Getting an 11th pick Bone Prospector, or Beamsaw Prospector rather, is awesome. Not playing that, but I'll snag it anyway. All right, so we're pretty open. I was just about to say we're pretty open on a second color. You know, we've got a decent black-red card, we've got some green stuff, but then we just open Elegy Alkalite, which is one of the least fair cards in the format, and it is in our color, so obviously ecstatic to grab that. There's an Invasive Maneuvers in the pack. Swarm Color might come around, and I wouldn't mind getting one of those. But yeah, Elegy Alkalite's a pretty easy pick. So again, second color we're all, you know, very open to here, but we've got like a really good start with our black shell, and then, you know, either playing Jund or black red or green black, all viable options at this point depending on how the rest of the pack shapes up. Excuse me. So we could take a second Interceptor Mechan. Oops, where is it? It moved. There it moves. We could take a second Interceptor Mechan. We could take a Land Seeker or a Field Crusher. We're in the Monolith Century, but I'm just going to take a second Interceptor Mechan, you know? We're going to want some more sack outlets and things that we would like to sack. I would basically just like to draft like 3 Virus Beetles at this point. Things that we can sack to stuff like Embrace Oblivion and then get back with the Interceptor Mechan. Okay, so we could take the Brood Tender and play Sammy's Curiosity and Brood Tender, and if we're doing this sort of more black-red focused Jund, we're probably not playing a triple green spell in the World Tire, right? The alternative is just taking Nebula Dragon and just sort of committing to the black-red plan. It's going to be easy enough to get a Nebula Dragon at some point. I'm going to go ahead and take the Brood Tender and just see how green looks for the remainder of this pack. Remembering that we did get a pretty late Sammy's Curiosity. There's another one there, and a Stomping Ground. Jeez. Okay, so Stomping Ground obviously makes the Jund action a lot easier, but this pack is loaded. I mean, it's got Sammy's Cut Propulsion. There's a Monoist, is fine. Seed Ship Impact. These are all good cards. How many more? We're going to get 2 cards back from this pack? Yikes. Okay, this is sort of tough, but I think I'm just going to take the Stomping Ground. I've been valuing lands more and more just because you end up getting, you know, so many playables. And so taking another land is like, you know, a card that's definitely making it into the deck, and allowing us to sort of do this Jund business that we're leaning towards. And then you pack past a 5th pick Mutinous Massacre. That's insane. Okay, so with that, I think we're pretty firmly in the Jund area. There's also a Monoist Circuit Feeder in this pack, by the way, which is the thing I almost started talking about before I saw the Mutinous Massacre. Pretty firmly in the Jund arena. Still not sure if we're going to play the World Sire, especially now that we got Mutinous Massacre. Blooming Stinger is a reasonable option. There's also a Bombard. So we only have Depressurize as far as removal goes. We also have a 0-point Ballad. We do have Embrace Oblivion. Bombard is one of the lower value removal spells. So I think I'm just going to take the Blooming Stinger. It's just a reasonable 2-drop that trades with anything and, you know, keeps you alive so that you can play your good stuff. Also, it's good to like trade off and then get back with an Interceptor Mechan. And why not? That is a 7th pick Focus Fire or Sarima, which leads me to believe that perhaps white was fairly open as well. I could take the Tenderfoot here, I think is a reasonable option, but I'm going to go ahead and take Decode Transmissions. We could have 2 Cosmogoyfs now, which again, rare in dual color. Gold card is neat and all, but that is not a real card. I don't need a second Decode Transmissions. I'm going to go ahead and take Lashwood Predator here. It's a reasonable card. All right, so we've got a Swarm Color, and we also have Sky Stinger, which I like. Sky Stinger, it's kind of in the same vein rather as Blooming Stinger. It's just an early dude that keeps you alive. Actually, yeah, I'm going to switch to Sky Stinger last second there. We just don't really have a ton of things that are valuable to sacrifice. I'm really kind of disappointed that we haven't seen a single Virus Beetle all this time, and we are at the end of pack 2. Wow, that is a late Self-Craft Mechan. Followed up by a last pick to Virtus Hester. Oh boy. Huh. So we only have one Sammy's. Okay. We could obviously take Terrapact Intimidator or another Siege Ship Brute Tender. Neither of those are like really phenomenal because, I mean, Terrapact Intimidator is obviously good, but like we're not playing like a lot of red. I think I'm going to be super greedy. I'm going to take the Rupture, and I'm going to hope to pick up a Command Bridge or 3, and maybe some more Sammy's Curiosities or something like that. Gene Pollinator would be great, but I think based on what we have to take vote out. Singularity Rupture may or may not make it into the deck. It's going to depend on how the rest of this pack shapes up, but we're looking at 0 Point Ballad, Mutinous Massacre, and Singularity Rupture in the same deck. Why not, right? Gene Pollinator is definitely a heavy contender here, especially considering we have, we're talking about having 3 Wraths. We already have Depressurize, Embrace Oblivion, and Dubious Delicacy, but I'm just one more spell, something like Vote Out that just kills anything. I'm going to take that and be glad. And again, I'm passing up on a second Gene Pollinator because this is the card I've kind of been talking about this whole draft now as wanting some Virus Beetles, right? Just good sack fodder, good thing to Embrace Oblivion with. Just a really fantastic breakout common in just what this deck wants. Okay, does this deck want a Nutrient Block? So a little bit of recursion value with the Mechan. Triggers Void for us, I think is also quite important. So we're going to go ahead and snag it for that reason. The other option is the Mono with Sentry, but with no spacecrafts, no real synergy there to speak of. And passing up on a Swarm Color as well. So there is another Vote Out. And if I could go back in time, I would take the Gene Pollinator instead of the Vote Out. But I cannot. Okay, so the question there is, do we take a second Peregrine Beckoner over Vote Out, which feels like kind of crazy to me because, this is just obviously a premium removal spell, but we have so much removal already. We need to worry about how we're going to win the game. Peregrine Beckoner combos well with Virus Beetle and Sack Outlets, and again, we already have so much removal. So it's looking like we're probably not playing Singularity Rupture because we just don't have the means to support the 4-color junk. Oh my, there's a second Virus Beetle. I'm just going to snag that right up. A Lightless Evangel, also a reasonable option here, but I'm happier to take a second Virus Beetle. So also probably not playing Famished Worldsire. We're just not going to be that strong in green. We are looking at a black base with, a little bit more green and basically a red splash for a couple Interceptor Mechans and a Mutinous Massacre. Okay, so we've Dirgecraft and a second Depressurize. It's probably the second Depressurize. I'm honestly not sure if I'm going to play it. Because the question is, of the cards that we're looking at here, what do we swap out for it? Same story with the second Voidborn. Probably not playing 2 of those, but taking that over nothing. Okay, so at this point our deck's more or less built. We just need to make one cut. because I think I can cut the second Comet Crawler and the second Voidborn. Don't think I'm playing either of those. So we're probably only going to play, what, like three mountains, 4 forests. Oh, I was close to what they recommended. 3 mountains, 5 forests, 8 swamps. Lash Whip Predator is actually pretty awkward just because of the double green. So we don't have a ton of top end, but I think cutting that allows us to trim a forest, go a little bit heavier on the swamps, and it's just going to clean up the mana base a lot. So we've got the 2 Wraths, and then we just have some green-black value creatures. And that's pretty much the game plan here. I like it. Let's see how we do. Alright, into the first game. Versus... First I read that as potato. So that's how I'm going to think of it. This is a pretty ugly hand, but I don't think it's quite a mulligan. We've got Nutrient Block to gain a little bit of life, hopefully find some action. And then we do have at least a play on turn 3. Okay, I think I'm gonna go ahead and do this because I do want to crack the Nutrient Block. Given the lack of action in our hand. Oh, even more so now. Okay, the question is which one I run out. They're black-red, so they're probably killing whatever I play. With that in mind, I think I'm gonna run out the Sky Stinger. Obviously, I can't block because of the menace. But they're probably going to want to kill it. Yeah. There's almost 100% that their play was, you know, kill my thing, attack with the Saboteur. I mean, there are games that you play black-red, you play a Saboteur, and then just removal spell, removal spell, removal spell, and kill your opponent that way. Hopefully, things don't go that route. We have 6 of the 7 mana. We need to play Mutinous Massacre, and hopefully we just set ourselves up in a position where if we don't die and we get to cast Mutinous Massacre, we just win. Okay, so that is an Elegy Alkalite that we don't have double black for, so that's unfortunate. So the question is if we offer the trade here, because we can't double block the Saboteur because we lose both. And we can't double block the Landseeker because we lose both. So either way, we would 2-for-1 ourselves. The alternative is they get in for 8. They have a removal spell, though. They get in for 8 anyway, so I think we just go ahead and attack. I don't think they trade. Yeah, if they did, that would be great. We are in rough shape here, though, because we are on a 2-turn clock. And again, basically in a situation where if they have removal, we are screwed. Well, they just mono menace dot deck. Very, very cool. Alright, so we kind of need to draw Black Source, and then if we can play Elegy Alkalite, and if they don't have removal for it, then we're okay. Alright, step 1. Draw Black Source, complete. We can't attack. I mean, if they kill Alkalite, we are dead. If they don't kill Alkalite. So we need to cook up our plan for if they don't kill Alkalite and we want to try to Mutinous Massacre and win. So it's even, even, odd, even, even, odd. Okay. So even. So that's 8, 12. So we'd want to take evens. Alright, so we have to double block with the Alkalite so that we lifelink. We can double block the Skitter Maw, and then they can't kill the Alkalite, and if we do it with the Voidborn, we keep the even on the battlefield. So 4, 8, 12, 16, plus the one that we're going to drain them for from the Voidborn. So again, this is all predicated on them having nothing here. Okay. Step 1. Damn. Damn, damn, damn. Okay, so even. So that's 12, which doesn't quite do it. All right, so we're gonna have to kill evens, which is obviously, you know, good, right? We're wrathing them, but still just a little annoying. So there's no reason to do it before combat because we're not going to keep anything, so we're just going to attack for 7. So if they can crew that up, we are dead. So that's, you know, we're still in pretty bad shape. Oh, wait. Yeah, we've got the right mana. I just have to play the land up. So all they have to do is play a 3-power creature and they win. And we're going to kill those. Oh, wait. No, we go up to 5 because of the Voidborn. I forgot. Oh, Requiem Monolith is an awkward draw for them. Okay, awesome. We are getting somewhere. So we can mechan back the Alkalite. And if we draw land, we can play both. So I think that's the plan. Draw land. No, we didn't draw land, but we did draw Dubious Delicacy. Okay, so... that's it. We win, right? Because we attack. This thing drains them for 1 with the Delicacy. Alright. What to do? Kill their thing. We'll sack this. They'll lose 3. We'll ping them with Voidborn. Wow. Alright, that was a close one. If I was the opponent, I would be a little disappointed to lose there after the position they were in, but yeah. Turns out one-sided Wraths are pretty good, and then yeah, they had like a 1-turn window. And actually I was wrong because I did gain 1 off the Voidborn, so I was at 5, so I wasn't just dead if they attacked with the gunship. Alright, sweet game. Alright, we've got a Virus Beetle and a Perigee Beckoner, which is a good... Oh, and an Interceptor Mechan. So if we can just find a sack outlet, we can get a ton of value off of this Virus Beetle. I'm just going to go ahead and run it out now. So we can warp in the Beckoner here. So I'm not sure. I was thinking about depressurizing the Savior. We could just Delicacy it. That is a better use of our mana. And then we can get the Delicacy in the graveyard faster to get back with the Mechan as one option, as one line to take. Because like next turn we can sack the Delicacy and cast Beckoner. Or sack the Delicacy and play Depressurize. These are all options. Sarima. What you got? Sarima finding nothing. Okay, so chances are, I mean, not chances are, that has to mean they have another another legendary creature in their hand. So we're gonna do this. We're gonna get in for 3. And then probably Delicacy them for 3. And then grab that back with the Mechan. Excuse me. I am a little concerned about what legendary they're going to have here. It is Halaya. Okay, so we're going to let that enter and then put our trigger on the stack, and then we will depressurize it. So That is way better than... Yes, thank you. That is nice. Okay, and now I'm just going to run out the Beckoner. My go. I do believe that our opponent is a little tilted by the turn of events. But you know, when you're playing Sarima, you generally speaking want more than one legendary creature in your deck. Alright, so we are... The question is if I attack with the Beckoner just to see if they don't block, which I'm sure they will. Okay, we need to do this correctly. We're gonna bring them for 3. And then Meccan back, the Dubious Delicacy. And we have no attacks, and our Meccan grows to a 3/3. So, you know, unfortunately, they do have this 4-power lifelinker, which until we can untap with Delicacy, we are sort of in trouble with. Alright, Dual Sun Adepts is not too much to worry about. This room is a 5/5? Yeah. Okay, cool. 3/3. 2. So if I attack with the Beckoner and they block with the Vanguard, then we Delicacy it. If they double block and we Delicacy it, we can kill both of their dudes. And yeah, that seems to be the plan. Well, let's go with that. Boop, boop. Get in there. I mean, they left both. Yes, thank you. I mean, they know I have it, right? So, like, the cards are on the table here. Yep, so they're going for the double blocks. So we Delicacy the Vanguard. Cool. That is cool. Very cool. Very cool. Gets the Vanguard off the table. Gets another counter on the Meccan. Put that in tapped. I like our position here. Get up into the quiet. Ooh. So 4, 6, 7. So I think I just run out the Acolyte, right? Worst case scenario, they have some removal spell, and no, I will not be sacrificing another creature or artifact. Good game. Okay, the suspense is killing me. Based off the opponent's emote uses so far, I am suspecting that perhaps that was a good game, and now I'm just going to time down before I let the game end. No? Okay. So we focus fire the Comet Crawler. Alright. The Yurgo thing. Alright, well, 2 quick wins there, so far so good. Did not need the Elegy Acolyte there, but always a welcome sight. Deck seems sweet so far. Having multiple, like, bomb level, you know, Massacre, Acolyte, feels good. 0-point Ballad, we have not played yet, but obviously that card can be kind of insane. It can also be a dead card in your hand a lot. You know, if you end up being behind most of the game, and then a Wrath that may hit you for 4, 5, or 6, if you want to use it effectively, is not great. Speaking of not great, I mean, this hand is a little awkward. I'm going to keep it. We have 0-point Ballad and Elegy Acolyte. It's just, I would like to have a little something to do early on, other than just pass and then maybe ping myself with Decode Transmissions and then ping myself with 0-point Ballad. Like, you know, we are in sort of a sketchy territory here, and it's not getting any better. Yeah, really just needed one, like, just creature to put on the ground to stall out the opponent a little bit. We also need to draw a second black source here for the Elegy Acolyte. Now, my opponent not doing anything is amazing. If we decode transmissions here, we are going to have to discard. But I don't think we have the luxury of not doing that. All right, so here are some dudes. I would have loved to have some dudes sooner. What do we pitch here? So the Brute Tender's just a good blocker. The Voidborn lets us get some life back. I think it's actually the Beckoner. I don't know if that's correct. I really would have liked to have seen a Swamp in those cards we just drew. Very glad our opponent did nothing on turn 3 and then nothing again on turn 4. Okay, so... I don't want to run out the Acolyte, right? They can't have counter magic. They're in green, white, red. So they could easily have some flavor of like Bombard or something like that. The Voidborn's awkward because it doesn't block the Terrabotanist. The Brute Tender doesn't make very good use of her mana, though. Yeah, I think it's the Brute Tender, though. It's just the best blocker. Sort of forces them to use a removal spell or they don't get to keep attacking. And then we just pass. And we could trade it in for a Perigee Beckoner later on if we'd like. Okay, so they didn't bombard it or anything, which is good. So it would have been so much more efficient to play Acolyte there, right? Because the next turn we could Brute Tender and Voidborn. But the fact that they passed on 3 and then passed on 4 with just all their mana up makes me think they've got something, and I don't want to lose the Acolyte. And I say that, and then we drew Interceptor Mechan, which means, of course, we could get back anyway, but didn't know that was going to happen. So we could 0-point Ballad for 3, and just 2 for 2 them. That doesn't seem great, though. I'm just going to run out the Voidborn. And just kind of sitting here in this ground stall and making them do something, right? Like, I know they've got some sort of red removal that they are thinking about picking off one of my dudes now with. And they're going to have to commit more to the board before I'm really concerned. We've got Embrace Oblivion and 0-point Ballad. We're getting closer and closer to the 7 mana, you know, get something off the Ballad. All right, this is getting... We're just playing draw go here. So it's tempting to run out the Mechan and sort of force their hands, and we could grab back Perigee Beckoner maybe? But I think that's going to be the plan next turn. I shouldn't have played the tap land. If I played an untapped land, I could have played Mechan, get back Perigee Beckoner, and then played Perigee Beckoner. That would have been fine. We have like multiple forms of graveyard recursion now, so we don't have to be as concerned with our Elegy Acolyte dying. Okay, so there's a Focus Fire, so that's one of their removal spell answers. Them playing a Codecracker Hound, though, doesn't really jive with my plan of playing Draw Go and, like, trying to get big value out of Wrath or whatever, because, like, obviously, now they're just generating card advantage without having to commit to the board. Okay, so... with that said, I believe the plan is going to be Mechan, get back Perigee Beckoner, play Perigee Beckoner, and attack with the Brute Tender. Okay, because I need to start putting some pressure on them, make them use some of their tools here. I mean, we are only hitting for 4. But they do have to sort of answer the Mechan, right? Okay, Codecracker Hound again. Notably, we can 0-point Ballad for 6 now. We have enough mana. We are also healthy enough to do so. So one of these turns, if they just commit something huge to the board, we can do that. Or if we just play Perigee Beckoner, this turn of ours coming up. Ice Grave Crasher, huh? But anyway, yeah, if we run out Perigee Beckoner here, we could be setting up to 0-point Ballad and warp this. Do they have a land? They warped that and then warped All Fate Stalker on the Codecracker Hound. My word, the value. Yeah, they are getting tons of value here. I guess this turn we can just go ahead and run out the Elegy Acolytes. Nothing else, we're drawing a card. They could have Focus Fire. So if they Focus Fire and kill my Interceptor Mechan, that is unfortunate. Okay, no. Alright, good, we're getting some value of our own. Alright, we can run out Sammy's. I don't think I'm going to play Blooming Stinger. There's really no purpose in doing so. Doesn't really change the board state at all, and we do have a Wrath in our hand. The question is if I'm going to crack the lander or not, because Void, obviously, oh, I should have just cracked the lander on that turn. That was really dumb. I should have cracked the lander on my turn because I had two voids that I would have liked to have triggered there. It was pretty silly. Okay, we can resolve all those. So notably, they do have All Fate Stalker in hand, but we have the answer to that with the Embrace Oblivion. We can also Brood Tender back anything, but we don't really need to. If they All Fate Stalker the Acolyte, though, or anything really, we could 0-point Ballad, and then we get whatever is under the Stalker back plus Interceptor Mechan, probably. And from the Interceptor Mechan, we could take back, you know, one of the other cards that went to the graveyard. So that's kind of what we're hoping at this point. They'd still have 4 cards in their hand, which is a little unfortunate. Yeah, okay. So that's fine. Okay. That resolves. Deciding whether I want to crack the lander. We, excuse me, are going to have enough stuff that cares about Void, rather, so that we don't want to do that. Okay, but we are going to Ballad for 6. After attacking with the Mechan. Do we attack with the team? Can that bite us? Yeah, I think if they just trade with the Voidborn, we lose a couple of drain life triggers there, so we're not going to do that. 3, 4, 5, 6, 5, 7, 8, 9. So we get to play Blooming Stinger as well. That's cool. X is going to be 6. Get the Acolyte back. We are going to take back the Interceptor Mechan. And I will take back the Voidborn. We'll play Blooming Stinger, and damn if that was not some value. Void triggers as well. That was a turn. They really they thought a while on the All Fate Stalker play. I wonder if they had some inkling that may have been what I was up to. All right, even. Okay. Oh, wow. Can they crack the survey mechan? I guess they do have enough mana to do so, huh? Yeah, so they can mechan and they can kill my blooming stinger or my token or my mechan. All right, they're 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, and they're going to go up to 17. So they will be at 4. So that doesn't just end the game. Yeah, that's unfortunate. All right, maybe I was... Okay, we are killing odd. Cool. All right. Being able to play that is pretty good too. I got a little trigger happy there and just fired that off because that just seemed like an absurd way to follow the last turn. What would I have done differently had I thought about it a little bit more? We could have just back entered, pumped something and attacked. It's hard not to feel confident about our position in this game, even as things stand now. Next turn we can beckoner the Elegy Acolyte, and swing with the team. Maybe we leave back the Voidborn. We have Embrace Oblivion that we can sack something to drain one with the Voidborn afterwards. Okay, they pitched a land. T-Causal Vestige. They don't have a way to untap that, right? Oh, this is warped in. Okay. Okay. Okay, so if we beckoner on the Acolyte and then we use the beckoner to kill the scan ship, they will have 1 blocker. So that means this will get through for 6 and they'd be dead off the ping from the Voidborn. They have duels on adepts too. Okay. All right, so that gives them. Let's see what they put in a. Whatever they put in a play off the vestige is tapped, right? So I kill one of their things. They have 2 blockers. They block there. They take 2, 4, 6, plus the ping from the Embrace Oblivion sack. Okay. Yeah, they are. Oh no, they're gonna get 2 more. Oh man, 2 more dudes off the use social engineering. All right, does this change things? So we've got 6, 9, 10 mana, so we can do all of the things. We kill 2 things. They have 2 blockers. Okay, yeah, so we win. Don't think it matters. That. Wait, they have 3 blockers. Wow, I keep mathing wrong, but I mean that is still lethal. I don't know how I missed one of those being untapped. All right, so a couple times I got a little trigger happy this game and didn't quite math things out correctly, but didn't end up biting me in the butt, and we are now 3-0 anyway. Deck is looking pretty good. 0 Point Ballad was insane that game. Mutinous Massacre is always a bomb. Elegy Acolyte. It's nice to be sitting in the seat of playing what seems like unfair cards. All right, not the best hand, not the worst hand. We got a couple removal spells and a Virus Beetle and a 7 mana spell. I'm trying to think of what we actually have for sack outlets. We have the 1 Comet Crawler. I don't actually remember if it's... Whoa, Ditching a monolith circuit feeder, eh? Not sure if a swarm caller made it into the deck or not. We have the Brace Oblivion as well. Just thinking of ways that we can sack the Virus Beetle and get it back with the Beckoner. I'm not playing the Beckoner to beef up the Virus Beetle this turn. I'm leaving up Dubious Delicacy. Notably, they pitched the Monolith Circuit Feeder, and then Moxite pitched a land. I'm wondering if maybe they didn't have a lot of black sources. Oh no, there goes my Virus Beetle. Alright. Well, they get some value out of their Nova Hellkite there. Okay. So we don't really have anything to do. Oh, well, there's something to do, I suppose. Maybe we mill Elegy Acolyte and then draw a land and just get that into play. Alright, step one of the plan. So we need one more mana, right? We need one more mana and then we can sack this and bring in the Acolyte. I am going to try to manifest Mountain. Mountain right there on top of the deck. That would be the perfect draw. And so far, this draft seems to be one of those drafts where we draw the cards we need to draw. Don't feel the need to depressurize that. Didn't draw Mountain. Never lucky. Just going to run out the Void board and attack with the Brood Tender. Again, not in terrible spot here. We've got one more land. We can trade this in for the Elegy. We've got 2 removal spells in hand. We've got Beckoner. This Voidborn has done some heavy lifting this draft so far too. Just the incidental life gain and pinging them for a few. I feel like I've gotten more value out of the Voidborn than I usually do. Alright, Death Touch dude is annoying. So we could just kill it. Or we can beckon her up and leave open to pressurize mana. But if we do that, we only get to attack for one, or with one creature, but it's still attacking for 4 damage, so it's the same either way. So I think I'm going to go that route. I don't want to offer the trade of the Brood Tender for the Hull Carver. Alright, and we're leaving up to pressurize. We will very likely to pressurize something at the end of their turn. Very well, maybe the Hull Carver. We'll see what they do. I would still really like to draw a Mountain. I would be willing to bargain for any land. So we would go up to 5 mana for the Beckoner, but if I had my druthers, I would choose Mountain. Okay, we really don't have an answer for the Hellkite, by the way, which they can now play. So that is something to be aware of. The Hellkite and the Monoist together is a 3-turn clock. However, Dubious Delicacy does change the math on that a little bit. Oh. Okay. With that in mind, I'm gonna go with the safer play and kill the Monoist. Notably not a mountain, but is a land. Okay. So do we Beckoner, or does this come in tapped? No. Alright, so we are going to... I'm trying to think if I attack with the Voidborn or not, because I'm going to trade in the Brood Tender for the Elegy Acolyte, and then the question is, what do I do if they have removal for the Acolyte? I don't just die, but I come very close. I think I leave the Voidborn back. And then if the Voidborn has to trade with the token, then so be it. I forgot we were going to get a Void token from the Acolyte as well. Yeah, maybe I didn't need to do that. Okay, Circuit Feeder. They had another Circuit Feeder. This is going to be a tough one to win. Oh, man. Oh. Yeah. I guess I did need to leave these both back to not just be dead. Yeah, unfortunately, now we have to trade off both of those. They're going to have a Hellkite and Circuit Feeder in play, and I'm going to be at... Okay, I take that back. What? I guess they're just playing safe because they've got the win. Alright. If we had drawn another mountain at some point, and we could have played the Mutinous Massacre, we'd be okay. Let's see. So we can shrink that down. Those get in for 5. Okay, so if they attack with something on the ground, and we could have our Voidborn or our token block and die, we are not dead this turn. And then maybe if we draw a mountain. They're not buying it. Okay, so we are just dead. Because we take 5. Maybe I should have attacked. If I attacked and they blocked, I would have gained 1 off the Voidborn and not been dead. And then maybe we... yeah, shit, that was the line. That was actually the line. Last turn, we attack with the token. And if they decide to block... Alright, there's no need to waste this person's time while I sort that out. So if we attack with the token and they block and trade, we gain 1 off the Voidborn. We Delicacy... shrink their Circuit Feeder and gain 3. We go to 1 and then we draw a mountain, and then maybe we can Mutinous Massacre to win. But that is not the way things went, and that was still predicated on drawing a mountain to pull all that off and then blocking. But that was the line. All right, 3-1. It's not bad. Still have faith in our deck, even if it did not provide the mountain. And it's providing the mountain this time. We are... I feel like just this format in general, I've been sort of vexed with my opening hands, always kind of having these awkward draws where I'm seeing very little of my early game action. I did draw a Blooming Stinger, which was like, that's it. That is the card I wanted. So that's good. But like otherwise, looking at what we had here, we were looking at not doing anything till turn 3 and the decoding transmissions. Like, not great. I'm going to take the trade here. They have Focus Fire. I'll trade my Blooming Stinger for Focus Fire and to prevent the 2 damage. A-okay. And now we get to decode transmissions at a nice healthy life total. And we can even Interceptor Mechan and get back the Blooming Stinger, I guess. It's probably fine. It's the best use of our mana. I grabbed the wrong card. That is unfortunate. Comet Crawler's not a terrible play, especially because they didn't do anything, so I guess I won't feel too bad. Okay, so our mana's super awkward now, so I did something goofy there. But what we can do is this. See what they discard. Blinding Light, eh? What is in your hands that you are passing with 5 mana open and then discarding a Blinding Light? Well, they will now have to show me at least 1 other card from their hand. Plains, okay. Okay, so presumably this means they have some form of expensive card in their hand if they wanted to discard Blinding Light over Plains. Okay. I think I just do it again. He can't keep getting away with it. Virus Beetle and Perigee Beckoner. Name a more iconic duo. Oh. Alright, I gotta say, I feel pretty good about our position in this game. Okay. That is, fair. Fair to announce good game when you drop the Hive Pool. Okay, we're gonna go ahead and do this. So we are probably keeping evens alive when we massacre, so I don't think I'm gonna sack the Virus Beetle. I thought about it. But we're gonna keep evens. Well, no, I guess we have to keep odds alive, actually. So maybe I should have sacked the Virus Beetle. I don't know. 3, 4, 5, 6. I need to draw a land. That is not a land. Okay, so we have 6, so we can intercept or mechan back something. Don't want to attack with Virus Beetle because that is just giving it away. 4 blockers. So if we attack with everything but the Virus Beetle, they can trade the Comet Crawler with the Luminary. Everything else is chumping unless they double block the Sky Stinger. So I think this is okay. We also have to pressurize to react to whatever they do here. Okay. Okay, and then I think I'm going to take the Voidborn there because that is another way to get in for a couple extra points of damage. I'm pretty sure we are fighting, we are outracing the Hive Pool even without the land for Mutinous Massacre. I was going to say land still wins because we still name evens. Alrighty. So I think we play Voidborn. And then probably swing with the team, right? Because at this point, Virus Speed... Okay. Okie dokie. So yes, correct. We are outracing Hive Pool even without playing Mutinous Massacre. Alright, what's that 4-1? Very, very good. Again, play... Bomb rares. Actually, didn't actually play the bomb rares that game. Just that was Perigi Beckoner Virus Beetle value. Okay. 2 Virus Beetles and Embrace Oblivion. Sounds good to me. My opponent's on the play, so hand disruption even more valuable. Could very well have no cards in hand by like turn 4, and then we go from there. The Dauntless Drafter. Alright. Hull Carver does not match up too well against Virus Beetle. Excuse me, Interceptor Mechan to get back one of these Virus Beetles. Alright. Let's see what you've got. We can even Embrace Oblivion, right? Sack the Virus Beetle. Get it back with the Mechan. I would like to draw Swamp next turn, and then we could play Virus Beetle and Embrace Oblivion, but that might just be greedy. I did try to manifest a mountain and didn't succeed, so we need to try to manifest a swamp. Beamsaw Prospector, yeah, their creatures do not match up too well against my creatures. Did not draw a swamp, so I think I hold the Virus Beetle, right? Because I'm going to get... Yeah, so I can hold off a turn. Hold off a turn on the Virus Beetle. They're probably going to trade this Virus Beetle for their Prospector. Yeah. That seems like a pretty obvious trade to me. Yeah, there we go. Okay. I'm just going to play the Sky Stinger here, and then next turn plan on Virus Beetling. Maybe I should have just ran out the other one because we have the Mechan to get back that Virus Beetle. Oh, okay. Still no second swamp. I'm wondering if it's greedy to play the Mechan here. So next turn I'll have 3 cards in hand. Because I don't really want to... I don't want to end up with Virus Beetle stuck in hand with them having no cards in hand, right? Like, that's sort of a... Yeah, so I think I sequenced this pretty poorly. I should have played the Virus Beetle last turn instead of the Sky Stinger, especially because I can't even attack with the Sky Stinger into their Swarm Color. I mean, I could, obviously, but they just bounce off each other. A virus beetle of your own, you say? I guess I get rid of mountain. I can play everything in my hand. Pitching one of my mountains for that I'll need for Mutinous Massacre is a little sketchy. And we got Stomping Grounds. That's good. All right. So I guess I offer to trade Skystinger for Hullcarver because I'm going to run out the Interceptor mech in this turn. And so I want to proc Void. The question is if I'm mechaning back a Virus Beetle. And I'm pretty sure the answer is yes. Over Skystinger? Yeah. Yeah, I think that's a reasonable block from them, right? Because even if I have something, I think you trade your Hullcarver to get the something out of my hand. Okay, so yeah, so this puts them in a spot where if they can't play both of the cards in their hand next turn, I'm going to get the other one with Virus Beetle. There's a pretty good chance that they play, you know, land spell and empty their hands, but I'm forcing them to empty their hands. And if they just go land spell, I don't think I'm in terrible shape, right? I can Embrace Oblivion, whatever it is they play. Now, they can Swarm Color and cash in their Virus Beetle. Because I don't have any, you know, even if they just attack with it, cash in their Virus Beetle for a card. Seems to be what they are considering. The question is if I block, and I think the answer is yes. They could have Focus Fire or, you know, any number of tricks to kill my Interceptor mech in, and I just kind of gotta, you know, if you have it, you have it. Okay, at this point, I don't see them being able to dump their hand, so I think we are getting some extra value out of Virus Beetle, which is great. Still in a situation where I would love to draw a Swamp. Ooh, Circuit Feeder, okay. Yeah, I would love to draw a Swamp because I would like to play Virus Beetle and then kill the Circuit Feeder with it, but I guess that's just not happening. So very awkward that we don't get to double spell. Okay, just the land. Alright, and they're drawing gas. Okay. Alright, there's a swamp. That's good. That's a start. So now we can do this. And we can kill their Circuit Feeder. Sack that. We get to drain them for one. There's the question of if I block the Starfield Pilot if they attack with it, trade the Voidborn off. Because them getting the Surveil every turn is, you know, when they're playing off the top of their deck, you know, they just, you know, that is one turn now where they are not drawing a land and breaking. So yeah, I think I'm going to offer that trade. We're both playing off the tops of our deck and letting the opponent Surveil every turn. It's a little scary. All right, Sammy's not the best draw. Comet Crawler was okay though. We have things that care about Void. We don't have any landfall, but we do have things that care about Void. So the question is if I crack the lander too thin. Umber Caller Zealot is a good draw for them. Yeah, I think I hold the lander because, like, if I draw Elegy Acolyte, which I would like to do, I'm going to offer the trade here. Do I trade in the Virus Beetle to gain 2 more life? I don't believe I do. They pretty much have to block, right? Like, they can't let me get in for 2 lifelink every turn. So, like, Comet Crawler was a very, you know, powerful card there, but... Okay, I need them to draw lands. Okay. They can't really afford to crew that up, fortunately. They might... Are they just going to sack it to the Swarm Color? That's that is actually a viable option here. Depending on what's in their deck, it's going to take them a couple turns to crew it at best. They need to draw something that is like 5 power and then a couple turns to crew from there. If I were them, I would certainly consider trading it in for a card. All right. They have declined. Ooh, that's some gas. I obviously could save it. The swarm color was not the scariest thing in the world, and if they drop some big thing here, I would feel like an idiot, but oh man. I am just drawing gas, and they drew land. They probably should trade it in the Dreadnought. Well, they could. Okay, that's a good draw. Can still attack with the Beckoner. I don't... Yeah, you don't get to do that. Oh my god. So I only have 6 mana, so I can't get the Voidborn. But, okay. So, I think we attack with the team. We'll get in for 1 extra damage. They do kill the Beamsaw Prospector, but we proc Void. Are they considering... Ooh, right, they could do that and then trade with the Beckoner. Oh. Okay, or if that was their plan, they didn't need to do that anyway. Hello? Oh, right, damage. Alright, we are going to Interceptor Mechan, back, and Interceptor Mechan. And then end turn. So definitely an argument for just getting the Voidborn back there. I mean, the Voidborn is obviously a very good creature to have in this situation, but... Jeez, okay. Okay, I can't complain about top decks. I can't complain about top decks, but Servandum was a pretty good draw there. So they have to block everything. They can't pump. So they're basically trading... I'm going to go ahead and crack this here since I have another one. Excuse me. So they're basically trading Wave on them for the Beckoner. There's no point in attacking with the Virus Beetle because they can just eat it. I think now we Mechan. We grab the Voidborn. We play the Voidborn. That still doesn't let us win because they're at effective 8. But we're going to get in with these dudes. They get to trade off. They go to 8. They go down to 5. Go down to 4 from the drain. We are in pretty good shape. Would it be better for them to chump with the Dual Sun Adepts? No, right? Because if they jump with the Adepts, they don't gain anything. Yeah. Okay, opponent in pretty rough shape. If they drew a Wrath, that would be good. We'd still have the Brood Tender. And we could get something back. We could just play the Brood Tender as a reanimate. I am cautiously optimistic that that might be all she wrote. Yep, that is not going to be enough. Good game. Alrighty. We are in 5 wins now. We are... Oh, a terrible thing to waste. I think that is making your opponent discard. Alright, 5-win territory. Profitville. On our way to Trophy Land. These are real towns. Yep. Discard 120 lands, or 120 cards rather. All right, cool. Let's see if we can get 2 more wins and wrap this up. So we've got 1 more loss to give and 2 more wins to get. Also, digging our way back up the rankings after the reset, which put us from diamond to gold, I believe. So we got through gold pretty quick, but platinum's taking a little bit longer. This hand is a little awkward, right? But we have to pressurize to take care of an early gameplay, and we're basically waiting on some lands. Decode Transmission is not a terrible draw, right? Because now we draw 1 more land. We get to Decode Transmissions and draw a couple cards. Alright, I am going to Bolt the Bird, I believe. Just get rid of the Mechan before they can ramp that into anything. We did draw a 3rd land, which is great. Not a forest, but that's okay. So hopefully they don't do anything too scary. I think that counts. So they have a Faller's Faithful, so they've got some value cards and some Graveyard Recursion. Kind of doing some of the same things I'm doing. So I wonder what they take here. Faller's Faithful? Okay. So the question is if we Decode Transmissions or we get some pressure on the board. Given that we have no other lands in hand, I'm just going to go ahead and, yeah. No other lands in hand and no lands on the horizon, apparently. So if we draw a land, do we just slam down the Elegy Acolyte? Maybe. I would like to draw a forest and then be able to Virus Beetle and Blooming Stinger. That would be my preference. 0-point Ballad is not it. Okay. So I think I'm going to run out the Crawler here. Basically, if we draw nothing but lands for the rest of the game, I would not complain too much. Crawler is just a good card to help us stay alive here. Okay. Station up the Grav Ship and then play the Faller's Faithful, sack their own Beamsaw Prospector, get a lander token. Alright, they are doing it. They are doing it. Monoist Sentry, okay. 0-point Ballad for 1 is looking reasonable here. 0-point Ballad for 2 is looking very reasonable here, and I do believe that is what we're going to do. We did draw the land, so that gives us some options. But 0-point for 2. .0 for 2, I think, is the best option. All right. So next turn, we can run out Acolyte, we can Virus Beetle, we could vote something out. I don't really want to just run out Acolyte. I mean, they're black-red and they mill to cut Propulsion, but that is the only removal spell. Now, depending on how much they run out from their hand here, they may sort of be under some pressure to Virus Beetle right away. Alright, I'm just going to play that pre-combat. Get one of the cards out there. And this comes in tapped, right? Yeah. Okay, so just a land, eh? I'm not going to sack the Virus Beetle to the Comet Crawler. It's tempting, but I want to keep the Virus Beetle as Embrace Oblivion fodder. So I'm really just doing this to gain 2, and possibly get a trick or removal spell out of their hand. That's a sorcery, right? Okay. Yeah, okay. I suspected that they were just going to do that. So I just attacked with Comet Crawler to gain 2 life. So if they end up tapping all their creatures, and especially if they end up tapping out, we can have a turn where we Acolyte and then Embrace Oblivion, fling the Virus Beetle at whatever, you know, big thing they play, and then attack and have both of Acolytes, you know, void and also hit the opponent. Activations. Okay, Gunship. Okay. Faller's Faithful, okay. Alright, cool. So we are going to do that. Run out the Acolyte. Attack with the Virus Beetle. We're going to fling the Virus Beetle at the Gunship. I'm going to hold the forest because there's no need to show them that we also have green. Not that it's really going to guide any of their decisions, I would say. Likely not, but that was a pretty good turn. I'm wholly expecting them to have removal for the Acolyte here. If they don't, obviously we're in amazing shape, but I expect them to have removal for the Acolyte and then maybe some other play of their own. They've gotten a lot of value. Couple of Faller's Faithfuls. Solid removal. All right. They don't have an answer to Elegy Acolyte. I am loving life. We're also one land off of Mutinous Massacre, but we haven't put enough pressure on the opponent that's like just outright going to win the game. Again, if they don't remove the Acolyte, we are in a board state where we can certainly start doing that pressure. Oh, okay. Wow. I'm a little concerned about the rest of their hand. The fact that that was not a windmill slam of a play. I will not be blocking. Okay. I do want to start lowering their life total, right? Because we have Mutinous Massacre in hand. The Blooming Stinger can trade if needed. It's a little awkward that Vote Out is a sorcery, and I didn't really have a good target for it. This is getting a little sketchy. So if they have a removal spell for the Stinger. Okay, that is not it. It's a 4-power creature. That is odd, odd, odd. So this was the game that I 0-point ballot in 3-for-1 them, and now I could Mutinous Massacre, name odd. If they man up the spacecraft, yeah, that is. All right, so 7-9. The question is if I go to 1 to keep the Blooming Stinger, because I'm gonna name odd next turn. So I think I really want to be greedy. I want to be greedy, but I don't think I can, right? Because then I just died a Plasma Vault. Then again, if I go to... Yeah, okay. Really wanted to be greedy, but so we are just going to do this. We are going to name odd. We're going to wrap them for the second time this game, and somehow they still have me at 4 with 3 cards in hand. So that is the second 3-for-1 Wrath I've done this game, and they've just, their deck is just really, really good value. And now it's like, okay, do I vote out a Grave Pact Monoist? And like, I kind of have to, right? Boy. Yep. So like, I think I have to run this out. no attack, just kill a grave, vote out a grave pact Maoist and pass. Not liking my position here very much. Jeez. All right. They're probably looking at my graveyard and being like, how did you cast all of those spells and not have won the game? Because that's sort of the question I'm asking myself here. All right, Nutrient Block to cycle is a good thing when you're living off the top of the deck. We even want to draw, so 7, 8, 9, 10. So we have 7 lands left in our deck. We've played all of our good things. I guess the, one of the... Just gonna depressurize this on my turn, because I don't want them to be able to ping me for 1. But yeah, one of the Interceptor mechans to get back Elegy Acolyte, or the, Brood, whatever it is, the thing that you can reanimate with. So we have 3 outs to getting Acolyte back in play, and them being in pretty reasonable shape. Then again, they are black-red, and they've been holding a couple cards in hand, so they could have removal. Okay, Mono Sentry is a great card for them to have. I'll run out the forest. Yeah, so 3 outs, 17 cards in the deck. Yeah, we are snap blocking. Now that does make me wonder, yeah. So Landseeker, that's going to be tough to beat. Yeah, Prospector isn't going to do it. So I may just be dead. May just be dead here. We'll see. Okay, you got me. Now, if they don't have like a Plasma Bolt or something in hand, which, at this point seems like they didn't. I could have been at 1 all this time. Yep, Forest isn't going to do it. I could have been at 1 all this time and kept my Stinger. Yeah, so the question looking back is like, so, should I have been greedy, kept the Stinger and gone to 1? But I think, it was a reasonable to preserve my life total and, play to being able to draw some sort of recursion to get like the Acolyte back or something. But man, crazy game. 3 for 1 them twice with 2 rats and they still win. Yeah, a lot of very good value cards with the Faller's Faithfuls and such. All right, this hand is not bad. We've got Virus Beetle into Voidborn. I believe every single game we've had Mutinous Massacre in our opening hand. Second Virus Beetle is a welcome sight. So I will probably play the Voidborn on 3. And then save the second Virus Beetle to sort of get them later on. 2 Hull Carvers, eh? So blue-black artifacts, yeah, Hull Carvers, Cryogen Relics, alright. We are not really putting the pressure on type of deck, so... I'm going to offer the trade. There's almost no shot they trade. Yeah. We'll get the Mountain out there and get the Voidborn in play. Next turn, it's probably just Virus Beetle again. And then attack. Maybe they crack the Relic to stun the Virus Beetle, depending on what they have in hand. Being that they had another land, they're not missing a land drop. That's probably not the play, but we'll see. That dude, huh? Alright. That was a good draw. So we run out Virus Beetle and we are going to depressurize their Zombie Maker. Question is, do I offer the trade of Voidborn for Hull Carver? And I'm fairly certain the answer is no. Okay, they discarded Perigee Beckoner. That's good. Okay, still not loving our position here. Opponent's on 3 cards in hand. Obviously, we have the board pressure, or board presence, but all they have to do is play something that can block Virus Beetle, and all of a sudden we have no attacks. That wasn't it, though. Okay. We're gonna chip in there for 2. Play a land and say go. Any little bit we can chip them down. We are 1 mountain away from being able to play Mutinous Massacre. And presumably, you know, they're playing blue-black. They're gonna... I mean, this is the turn where they can run out like a Self-Craft Mechan. And then we're kind of not doing anything. Okay. Stunning a Virus Beetle with Cryogen Relic. Okay. They were looking for a land. They hit it. Slam that thing down. Grab ship. So they can get back their Zombie Maker dude. Or Perigee Beckoner. Either one is probably not bad for them. Alright, so we only get to chip in for 1 damage this turn. This is the second game in a row we've played against, you know, a deck that had like a lot of value and recursion, and our disruption with Virus Beetles just did not get us as far. Oh, that... Okay. I don't know if that was the play on the opponent's part, but we'll give the Virus Beetle Death Touch. I'm going to hold the Swamp because they could have a Virus Beetle of their own. And obviously, I do not want to have to discard Mutinous Massacre. I got in for 2 extra damage because they crewed the Graph Ship up once. Graph Ship does have lifelink though, so that is going to work towards getting them out of trouble. The question is, if we draw a mountain, do we win yet? Naming odd? 2, 3, 7? No. Not naming odd, but keeping odd. So in that case, we probably do kill odds. They do something like get the Beckoner in there. Okay, they are passing with Secluded Starforge up, so they can make a 2/2 and eat a Virus Beetle. Okay. Still no mountain. I'm okay with them eating a Virus Beetle and then I drain them for 1. I'm okay with them trading for Blooming Stinger. I'm not okay with them trading for Voidborn, right? So next turn, I should have held priority. So next turn they're 3, so that goes up to 5. They're probably going to play Beckoner. So next turn they're probably getting in with Graph Ship. Which is unfortunate. We really need to draw a mountain to try to end this game. Okay, so they did choose to eat a Virus Beetle, so that's... We're doing 4 damage to them this turn, but next turn they're going to attack with the Graph Ship and lifelink back the 4. Oh, jeez. Mouth of the Storm, huh? Okay. So odd, odd. No blocks. So if we draw a mountain, oh man. Really like to draw a mountain. So we can attack for 1 this turn. Just get the Beckoner out on the battlefield, I guess. Alright, so we kind of need to draw a mountain next turn, and then does that even do it? So they'll be at 12. 9 in the air. Probably, depending on their attacks. So we keep the Beckoner. They're probably going to play their Beckoner. Yeah, so I think our out is Mountain this turn. It would be a little disappointing to lose these last 2 games in a row. But both to very similar decks, very similar situations where, you know, our opponents were able to just get a lot of value and then sort of get us, defeat our game plan. All right, Mountain is a win. That ain't no Mountain. All right. I think that we just lose then. So we get to do this, and basically if they attack with any ground creature or skip through their attack phase or something, we might be able to live, but looking like that might be all she wrote. Let them think about it for a moment before they turn their flyers sideways. They outsmart themselves and decide they have to play around some imagined threat. Tezzeret, huh? Okay. They did have the virus beetle. Talked about holding the swamp in hand. But my other card is a darkness, which is in the format, right? I'm not sure how that would translate into them not wanting to attack, but you never know. Alright. Good game. Disappointing end, but overall not a bad run. 5 wins. Deck was good. A lot of on-color bombs. Some awkward hands. And some unfortunate matchups there towards the end. But yeah, just like a lot. I feel like we had the 7-drop in every single opening hand, and it's just that has been the story of the past several drafts. And obviously, just variants. I don't think we saw Nutrient Block once. We like had no opening hands with Nutrient Block or Sammy's, or you know, kind of infrequently had any of our 2-drops either. It was like, you know, opening hands were like all 4s and Mutinous Massacre and so on. But anyway, not a terrible deck. 5-3, not a terrible showing. And on to the next one.